Welcome to the full spectrum laser 5th generation alignment tutorial video. Before we begin the process, we're going to need a few tools. We're going to need some receipt paper. We have a roll of receipt paper right here and masking tape to tape the paper to the mirror. You can use thermal stickers, which we'll be using for the video. They're a little bit easier but harder to find. If you don't have receipt paper, you can use an old receipt, works just as well. After we perform the alignment, we're going to clean our mirrors using a lens wipe. And to make the adjustments, we'll need a 2mm and a 2.5mm Allen wrench. Taking our thermal sticker or paper, and we're going to place it on mirror 1. And then I'm going to press it on around the edge of the mirror to create an outline circle of the mirror. This way I can tell if the dot's going into the mirror. So I've got my paper stuck on there pretty well. I'm going to close my lid, and then I can test fire from the panel. So if I press lock mode, the motors are locked and I can't move the gantry. But if I press unlock, I can move the gantry manually, and I can also fire from unlock mode. So I'll press this button to test fire, but first I'll close my lid, and I'll go ahead and test fire. Now as you can see, I've made a dot on my paper. The dot's contained within the mirror, and it's a nice full circle. If we had a half circle here, or even less than that, a quarter circle, it would mean that the dot is being clipped by the beam combiner optic. So we're just double checking here to avoid that, and everything looks okay, so we can move on. Next step is to align from mirror 1 to mirror 2. To do this process, I'm going to take my thermal sticker and place it on the black bar in front of mirror 2, just kind of blocking the path to mirror 2 there. And then since the gantry is unlocked, I can move it all the way to the back by hand. And this is, I'm calling it back, but this is furthest away position from the laser tube. I'll close my lid, test fire, and as you can see, I've made a dot on the paper. So now that I have a dot on the paper, I can adjust the red diode mount so that my red dot matches the black dot I produced. To adjust the red diode mount, I can twist it to turn the dot left and right, or I can tighten the screws to tilt the dot up or down. So if I tighten the front screws, it'll point the dot down. If I tighten the back screws, it'll point the dot up. So I'll go ahead and twist my diode to bring it to the same spot as the black dot. So I've adjusted my red dot by twisting and tightening the screws so that it's in the exact same spot as the black dot. And now I can verify this by moving the gantry all the way forward, and the red dot moves slightly to a new location. I can close my lid and test fire again. Now I'll move it back slightly, and you can see the red dot moves in between the two black dots. We now have the red laser aligned to match the black cutting dot. As you can see, the red dot is in the exact same location as the black dot in this far position. This other dot that you see was what we produced when the gantry was closest to the tube. So we'll call this the far dot and this the close dot. Now basically what we want to do is adjust mirror 1, the screws on the face of mirror 1, to move the red dot into the first close dot. And we want to be careful not to bump the mount on mirror 1, otherwise we'll lose our red laser alignment. So now we'll be adjusting the screws on mirror 1 carefully to move the red dot to match the close location dot. So I will go ahead and tighten. It's usually better to tighten the screws, so I'll go ahead and tighten the screws. And I can see my red dot moving to match the location of the close dot. Okay, so now I've adjusted mirror 1, and as you can see, the red dot now is in the close dot location. The next step is to take a fresh piece of thermal paper and place it back over the black bar, and we can see the red dot on there. And I'll go ahead and jog to the close location first this time. Close my lid and fire a test dot from unlock mode. Now I can open the lid and jog all the way down. And I have two dots in the exact same location that match the red dot. Now I can take the paper off, and I can observe the red dot is within the mirror, And I can go ahead and move up and down and see that the red dot stays within the mirror and doesn't change locations. So I've now aligned from mirror 1 to mirror 2, and my next step will be to align from mirror 2 to mirror 3. I'll go ahead and put my thermal sticker or paper on mirror 3, which is the angled mirror above the laser head. I'll stick the sticker on securely and then run my finger around the outline of the circle to create a trace on the paper. I'll go ahead and jog my laser head to the rightmost position, close the lid, and press the test fire button. And we get a dot on the thermal paper. We can then look in there and see that the red dot is slightly off of the black dot produced. So I can carefully adjust the red diode mount to match my red dot to the black dot. And this procedure is basically the same. I can twist the mount to turn left and right and adjust the screws to move up and down. I now have the red diode matching the black cutting laser. So I'll go ahead and move all the way to the left, close the lid, and fire a second dot onto mirror 3. And then I'll move away so I can see. And as you can see, I have two distinct dots. I have one dot here at the far location, and then one dot all the way left at the close location. I can now adjust the screws on the back of mirror 2 to move the red diode into the first location. So basically I'm splitting the difference here and bringing the two dots into one spot. So we'll just adjust these screws. And then I can watch the laser as I move left to right. I can see that the red dot stays in one spot. I now have my laser aligned from mirror 2 to mirror 3. So I'll take a fresh sheet of thermal paper and place it above the lens. And then I'll run my finger around the lens hole to create an outline circle. And as you can see, I have my red dot going into the lens. Now basically I'm going to move to all four corners of the bed, close the lid, and fire a dot to see how the beam goes down into the lens. So I'm in the upper right now, and I'll fire a dot. Move to upper left, fire, lower left, and now lower right. After observing the four dots that go into the lens, I can adjust the screws on mirror 3 to affect the position of the red dot, and I can center the red dot in the lens circle. After completing this, you can remove the paper. You'll see we have the red dot going down onto the table. At this point my alignment's complete, and I'll take my lens wipes and go ahead and clean each mirrors 3, 2, and 1.